with Hyundai.
What is going on, everybody? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome to the Better Baseball MLB DFS Playbook live show here. We are live breaking down today's 8-game main slate over on DraftKings. And if you play on FanDuel, over there as well, get those questions in. James and I are more than happy to help you all out today with this DFS slate to kick off the week. My friend, how you doing?
Happy Monday, John. Doing well. Interesting little 8-gamer we have tonight. I think you and I both were kind of juked out by weather last night. That doesn't seemingly present much issue today. Maybe
still gonna rain, but like potentially less impactful than we thought. But we'll see.
We'll see. So it looks like all 8 games, maybe 7.5 games we'll play tonight.
Right.
Maybe if 2 games only get 5 innings, like 7 overall. But looks like we're gonna have most games on tonight's slate. There's some really interesting pitching up at the top. There's not a lot of interesting pitching after that. So you know, and which means there's a lot of bad options, which means there's a lot of good offenses to potentially target. So definitely an interesting slate. Definitely something that you and I are gonna break down for the people, for the family. And win some money. A big winner yesterday. Shout out to Taco Corp in Discord. $2,500 takedown on for Sunday's playbook done by Henry Wilson. So shout out to Taco. Shout out to the family that continues to win, and look forward to doing that again here on this Monday slate, John.
Yeah, 100% here, and we've had a nice little run over the last couple of days. Last time you and I did a show, we were ending it touting some Kansas City Royals against Aaron Nola. That worked out pretty well that evening there for us here. So let's hope we can kind of continue to keep the stretch going. Before we do get into tonight's DFS slate, though, again, shout out to our friends over at Real Time Fantasy Sports. Go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. New users will get a 100% deposit match up to $200. I did the RT Sports Pick'em plays of the day today. You can go find those over on YouTube. But James and I will go over that and give you a couple more plays here for this evening right now. Here we are looking at this RT Sports DFS Pick'em board here, breaking down tonight's slate. And again, give you an opportunity to win 3, 6, 10, 20, 40x your money here this evening, depending on how many plays you want to pick from tonight's board. Again, I did the RT Sports DFS Pick'em video. You can find that over on YouTube if you haven't checked it out already. But one of my favorite plays on the board tonight, we'll kick it right off. We'll go to Texas, Oakland matchup. Rangers going up against Ken Waldesuk here. And we have Corey Seager, 1.5 total bases. That is where I am looking to go here today. I know it's a lefty on lefty. I'm not too worried. Seager's hitting everybody, lefties and righties this year. 333 batting average against left-handed pitching. He's got an over 250 ISO against left-handed pitching this season. So give me Corey Seager more than 1.5 total bags. If he doesn't get it against Waldechuk, he'll get it against somebody in that Oakland bullpen. I'm not too worried about this one here. So Seager, more than 1.5 total bags.
Yeah, that was actually my top play as well. He's covering my playbook today over at fantasyalarm.com. Texas is my top stack of the day. Lefties, righties, they all hit Ken Waldechuk. So I'll pivot and I will go to Boston. And I'll actually, you know what? I'll piggyback off that, John. And I'll also attack a lefty on lefty, do some lefty on lefty crime. And I'm going to go Rafi Devers over 6.5 fantasy, or more than 6.5 fantasy points, rather. We've said it ad nauseum for quite a while. When it comes to Rafael Devers, another guy that does not care about the split. He's actually been arguably better against lefties this year. 268 ISO, 385 WOBA against. The fantasy points, you know, not too many. Right. So I'm going to go more than 6.5 here for Rafael Devers.
All right, I'll throw one more play out here. We'll give a 3-pick play here for a Monday. I see a lot of you guys in chat. I see through you, DePrince, JT, and Ryan. What's up, guys? We'll be talking to you all in a moment here. If you got any questions, those of you tuning in, like and subscribe to the show. If you haven't done that already, super helpful to us. And feel free to throw some questions in chat. We'll be happy to get those answered for you. Go to Atlanta. Their matchup against Pittsburgh here. Against Osvaldo Bido on the mound. Matt Olson, 1.5 total bags. That's where I'm looking to go here today. more than a 1.5 total bags. He leads the National League in home runs with 39. Can do it all with one swing. Crazy ISO against righties. Give me Matt Olson over the 1.5 total bases for our 3-pick real-time fantasy sports DFS pick and plays of the day. James, how's that sound?
I dig it. I think we have some pretty good baseball players in this 3-pick play.
Got a bunch of all-stars here. So
we got some pretty good options going.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. So again, if you guys haven't yet already signed up, go take advantage of the real-time fantasy sports deal that we got going on. Go to rtsports.com/alarm, promo code alarm23. You'll get 100% deposit match up to $200. If you're not into DFS pick and plays, that's fine. They also have fantasy football best ball and fantasy football regular championship contests out there. You can go partake because fantasy football season is obviously here as well. So go jump in some of their contests that they got going on over at rtsports.com. So, James, that said, let's turn our attention over to the DraftKings board here. Shout out again, more of you in chat here. Faisal popping in, Ryan's in chat, JT, DePrince, Ice Through. I'm sure Mark's lurking. Hasn't mentioned yet, but he's usually tuning
first
in
comment.
to the show.
It's usually first comment. We're like
right?
we're getting way too deep into the show for Mark to not
6
be here.
minutes,
I'm getting
Mark's
worried.
not in yet, so a little
getting
concerning.
worried. Yeah.
A little concerning. So anyway, so happy to have you all with us again. If you're new to the show, feel free to throw your chat in there. Well, James and I are more than happy to help you out today. Liking that too works. I just disconnected my mic there quickly.
You sure did.
Hopefully you all can still hear me.
We can now. We can now.
Good. Let's get into it. Let's go to Vegas. Let's talk about what we got going on over there, James.
Yeah, so Vegas, what do we got? 9.5 implied runs in Boston, Kansas City. It was actually 10.5 when you and I were doing the pod this last night. So little dip and a even money across the over and the under. 8.5 pretty much everywhere else, and 9 implied runs in Texas, Oakland, and that's up from 8.5. So like nothing significant. There are some significant money line favorites. Spencer Strider and the Braves minus 300 over on FanDuel Sportsbook. Yeah, pretty good. I don't know. I mean, John, as an odds guy, I know you saw the Spencer Strider to get a win today was like minus 150. So.
Yeah, usually that's like a plus number. Never mind.
Never
mind that. Yeah, his strikeout price also at 9.5.
9.5.
Like,
Yeah. And the other interesting money line and win favorite tonight, Freddie Peralta and the Milwaukee Brewers, minus 240, minus 250 in some places. He was almost even money for a win tonight. And we'll get into some Freddie Peralta talk very soon about some ownership coming in on Freddie Peralta because it's gonna spark it.
I'm just gonna say that if you tuned into the Better Sports Betting Show, my home run call today was Nolan Jones. So if people are in on Freddie Peralta, I may be having some Rockies in my lineups here this evening. You know that I not one to shy away from the contrarian play there, my friend.
No,
so
not.
It worked out for our Royals on Friday. So we could see where we're at with tonight's slate here. If you're on FanDuel, there's not a huge pricing discrepancy between the top guys. So like I know DePrince is in there. He plays on FanDuel. Spencer Strider at 11.5. Like just lock him in. It's a 500 more than Gerrit Cole, 1,000 more than Freddie Peralta. Just pay the 11.5 and figure out the value on your hitting because you're gonna want to get all that exposure there out of Spencer Strider here this evening. All right, let's go on over pitching here again. Cole, Strider, Senga. Cole's cover of the show today, but we really like the top two guys here. I am not in on Senga as much. I know the home run splits are ridiculous, but that Cubs offense is crazy good right now. Gerrit Cole going up against a team that we saw Dane Dunning strike out 11. Got to think that there's some nice upside. I was actually talking to our guy Mark earlier today. He said Gerrit Cole's strikeout prop was just sitting at 7, and he thought that was crazy low, given who he's going up against. So I like Cole a lot, 11.3. I like Strider here at 12.8 today.
Yeah, so like now that the weather's cleared up for Atlanta, it's really hard not to like Spencer Strider, and just given, like I wrote in the playbook, like nobody possesses the floor ceiling combination that Spencer Strider does. as you plug Strider Cole into our
I
lineup.
I hadn't done it yet today. I just wanted to see how much money's left. Not a lot.
I mean, not a lot, but we'll get to some Kansas City bats and some Colorado bats. I'm sure you'll make it work.
Right.
So like there's obviously a ton of merit to getting to Spencer Strider, right? And to Prince, so we're clear, it's not fully out of the woods. But last night, John and I were recording, it looked like it was going to be the worst weather of all time in just the Northeast in general. It looks like a delayed start and then they play the full game is the case, or potentially a delay if they start on time. It looks like things are fine for that game. Now, could there be a delay?
Definitely a case where you want to be in the Discord as we get close to the roster lock. Have your Twitter noties on, or X noties, whatever we call the tweeties, the tweeties, Twitter noties, whatever we call these things, right? Like to get some push notifications if you can on this game status, because you're gonna want to know, obviously, right? You're paying 12.8 for a starter, you're paying 11.5 for a starter. You're gonna want to know for sure that this game is like a delayed start but intends to play, and not like a delayed start and then we'll see, or an outright cancellation. Like it is going to rain in half of the games. It's either going to rain before the game starts, so they delay it, or at the end of the game, and hopefully they get it in. It's not perfect, but if this game plays, you're going to probably want to get in, want to be able to throw Strider in your lineup today. So as the information stands right now, the Kevin Roth weatherman saying that it's he thinks a delayed start and the game plays. So if that updates, we'll certainly have that in the Discord. We'll have it out on Twitter. So just stay tuned with us here, man. But at least for now, James and I are going to be acting like this game plays as we break it down. We're going to have the exchange too. The DFS betting channel. Go in there, and we'll throw some updates as we get more information closer to roster lock with that one.
Yeah. So back to Strider, he's firmly in play. Right? Like, no doubt if this game plays in full, he's the top play on the board. He's not being rostered that way. He's number 2. The most interesting ownership, and it's to Mark's point that he made to you earlier today, that Gerrit Cole strikeout prop. So when I looked this morning on DraftKings, it was 7.5. It was plus money at 7.5, but it was 7.5. It is now 7, and he is only getting 12% rostership. And that is because all the ownership is going to Freddie Peralta tonight at 50% projected, which I think we'll get to.
It's probably a little high, but if that's still 30%, that feels a lot. So
right. And especially when you factor in how well Gerrit Cole has pitched since June 3rd. The last 10 game stats are good. I threw in the playbook the last 11 because the 11th game was great. 2.33 ERA over that span, over 11 starts, 29% strikeout rate, opponents hitting 210 against him, and he's a big favorite against the White Sox, who, let's face it, there's a lot of things going on. I don't know if you saw the reports about Kenyon Middleton. Came out, who's now a Yankee, by the way, bashing the White Sox organization, and which, seemingly has been the case with the ownership group in general. That ownership group has still, living off the coattails of Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But, they're in free fall. Their leadoff hitter got punched and knocked out by a wild right hand. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on. And since the All-Star break, the White Sox have a 25% strikeout rate. They're 29th in OPS, and they're 30th in WOBA against righties. What is not to like about Gerrit Cole tonight? I'm the Yankees offense has obviously
honestly, I think it's the Yankees offense. I think people look at 11-3 and they worry about win equity for him there because of Dylan Cease. But Dylan Cease just gave 7 runs and an inning in the third last time. Right. So
and for what it's worth, the Yankees offense has been slowly trending in the right direction. I don't think that's coincidental, like getting Aaron Judge back and a better version of Giancarlo Stanton back, right?
Yeah.
So I love Gerrit Cole if he's going to be the fourth highest.
We got a 30 fantasy point game from Gerrit Cole against the Rockies without a win. So, that's the ceiling that he possesses here tonight.
Right. And guys that are priced around him, Freddie Peralta, 50%, Strider, 33%, Logan Webb that you and I talked about on the pod a little bit last night, 21%.
Yeah.
Like, nobody 13% to Gerrit Cole. What are we missing here, right? So I'm gonna get to Gerrit Cole, Yankees fandom aside. Like, obviously I'm playing Strider. I'm gonna have a share of Freddie Peralta. I still think that ownership is too high, and we can get to it right now. But like, I'm not fading Gerrit Cole if he's gonna be significantly lower owned than everyone else. And he has honestly as high of a ceiling as anyone else when he's at his best. He's right now the AL Cy Young leader, right? So Freddie Peralta, 50%. Let's talk about it.
To me, that feels a lot like all of the reasons I faded every other chalk starting pitcher to the last like 2 months, right? It's like, yo, you Darvish is chalky. We played on that night. He got lit up. Aaron Nola, chalky. I was like, yeah, but he hasn't really been that good. Royals get to him. You look at Freddie Peralta, 50% of the field is playing a guy with a 4.5 ERA, right? Like, because it's the Rockies, I get it. And they traded away 2 of their better hitters in Cron and Grichuk, fine, like, understand. But what does Freddie Peralta had 2 good starts against Cincinnati, wrapped around some okay starts. The strikeouts are fine, but like, he's not shutting you down, like, yeah, he's giving up runs and hits every start except for the 2 Cincinnati starts. So 50% of the field wants to risk that. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine with that, and I will probably not play it. So that's my. I'm not saying you have to go full on Rocky stack like I will, because I like the stack against the chalk pitching of the night for the most part. I won't do that against Strider, obviously, but I mean, like, for Peralta to get 50%, like, I will play McMahon and Nolan Jones and maybe sneak someone else in that play today and like call it a day. So
yeah, and Vegas loves him. Like, 1.5 was the over-under set for his earned runs.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
He had a plus 105 to get a win today, 17.5 outs. It was minus money there. Like, there's a lot that Vegas likes about Peralta, and I'm with you, though. Like, I'm okay getting to Peralta, and we talk about it all the time. Like, strikeouts are what drives the DraftKings ownership a lot, and he has double-digit strikeouts twice in his last 5 starts. He struck out the Nationals 7 times, and the Nationals don't strike out. So, like, I get it. But I am not going to go all in on a Freddie Peralta who's going to be 50% owned. And,
right.
and that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get to the Rockies. I think that there's, like, pieces, but, like, I'm not going to go full bore. If I'm playing, let's say I was playing 20 lineups, I am half the field on 50%.
Yeah.
Right? I'd be probably somewhere between 20 to 25%.
Yeah, I don't think I usually do the 3 max. I don't think I'll have any Peralta in any of the 3 max, and that will just be my live or die play. But I agree with you. I was playing the 20, 10% for me. Maybe I throw 2 Freddies in there, and see what happens. But we talked about it on the show. After like this 9K and above range, there wasn't a lot. I just dumped right back down to Dane Dunning at 72 and maybe Sandoval at 7K, and kind of just lived with those within that range. Has anything changed for you doing the playbook today?
No, those are the 2 guys I would go to. I wrote Dunning up in the playbook, and at the end of his write-up, I wrote honorable mention to Sandoval just as a pivot, because Dane Dunning's checking in at 20% and Sandoval's 12. So you get a little more leverage going to Sandoval, but Dunning's obviously been better.
Right.
We had a comment, Ryan, who this guy has a man crush on Dylan Cease. Every time we talk to Ryan, he's playing Dylan Cease, and every time he plays Dylan Cease, it doesn't go well. Not playing Dylan Cease. I mean, we told you this last time, I think. And look, people are getting to Dylan Cease. Again, he falls into that same category. I'll put him in the Lance Lynn category. I think you did this last time out, where you said he's like turning into Lance Lynn. It's like, he can strike a lot of guys out. When he doesn't, he's getting shelled. Like, it's seemingly one or the other. Maybe you get him on a good night against the Yankees tonight. So be it if you do. I'm happy for you if you do. I'm just not getting to him. I know the price tag is good and stuff, but like, you save $1,300 on a slate that the Rangers are expensive, the Braves are expensive. Like, those dollars are needed. So $1,300 to go to Dunning or $1,500 to go to Sandoval seemingly is the direction I would like to go.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. So, like, I know some people earlier today were talking about Brian Bayo against Kansas City because Kansas City has been a team that like we'd like to go against. Not lately. Go look at like the last like 2 weeks numbers for Kansas City there. They're hitting everybody. And, you know, the Bobby Witt's been a big reason for that. Been a lightning rod for that offense lately. And Bayo has struggled. He struggled against lefties this year, especially of late. So, you know, could be a questionable play at 9K. So, my player pool up top, it's Strider, it's Cole, and it's Sandoval, it's Dunning, and I'll mix and match those exposures here today when building my lineups.
Just before we move on, and we can just quickly touch on it. What do you make of Logan Webb at 21%? I talked about it on the podcast. I didn't write him up today. He's not in like any of the content for me personally.
Angels lineup just came out, so let me see here. Anything? No, nothing crazy. Rengifo, Otani, Drury, Moose, Crone, Moniak, Renfroe, Dice, and Grichuk. So your usual lineup for the Angels here this evening. So
they lost 6 in a row, right? So
yes,
you know,
that GM will be fired for not trading Otani. So.
I mean, if Webb is getting the ground ball outs that he got last time, it's probably going to be a good day in the office for him.
This is a ceiling strikeout matchup for him.
For sure.
So I don't mind. Again, I don't mind Logan Webb. You said he's 20%.
Yeah, he's the third highest expected pitcher on tonight's.
Yeah, it's fine. The problem is just for us on the other side, right? San Francisco's dead last against lefties. So are they get if Wilmer Flores or JD Davis or somebody can get after Sandoval tonight and get him a win, that's fine. Right. You know, he pitched well against Boston, lost that game 3-2, and he only got 15 fantasy points. So,
right.
You know, like he's got to have a ceiling strikeout game like he did against Cincinnati here. No decision, 4-2 game, 23 fantasy points, 7 innings. Give us this.
Sure.
Perfect. Give us this even without a win, and you're even better, right? Like, you know, so. But
give us that. We're gonna take that. We're gonna take down
11 strikeouts here for him, 27 fantasy points. So again, it's a ceiling strikeout matchup for him. Angels one of the highest strikeout rates in baseball against righties. You know, the last couple of weeks here.
29.3 since the break.
Yeah. So yeah, Logan Webb's fine. I'd much rather play Logan Webb at 20% than Freddie Peralta at 50%. Let's just tell you that.
Probably. Yeah. Probably. I mean, again, 20 max. I probably have more exposure. I'm probably at like I'm probably with the field 20-25% on Webb. I'm probably like even between him and Peralta.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Again, I don't. He just hasn't been all that good. Like, what's his numbers here? Freddie Peralta. As my computer probably freezes as I open Fangraphs. Let's see here. On the year, I feel like his numbers really just haven't been that great. 4.46 ERA, 4.2 FIP. I guess the xFIP's 3.8, 15% fly ball, home run to fly ball rate, 3.5 walks per 9, 1.4 homers per 9. I mean, the strikeouts are obviously driving a lot of his value there. So
for sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sold on Freddie Peralta in this spot, but we'll see. Someone will be right, someone will be wrong. We'll know at midnight tonight. We'll figure it out. Anything else in pitching here? Alrighty. Those of you tuning in, welcome to the show. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. James and I breaking down this DFS slate here, 8 games on a Monday. Moving over to catcher. Do you find yourself looking to spend up today? Maybe a Sean Murphy, William Contreras.
His position sucks.
Up at the top here. I'm largely in agreement with you. Garver at 35 is what we just plugged in on the podcast this morning. Has anything else opened up for you that you like this evening?
No. I mean, I think that this is by far one of the, this for an 8-game slate with 16 teams in action. This is one of the worst.
Plugging Garver in now. We're not gonna.
Yeah, it's I'm not spending above Garver. You can, I guess, if you're stacking Braves, but Osvaldo Bido has been pretty good against righties, so not like my favorite spot. You can play. I think William Contreras would probably be the guy I would spend up on if you're playing a Brewer stack. But Garver. My catcher pool is this, John. It's Garver, it's Danny Jansen, who I like the Blue Jays today, hitting 5th, and it's Freddie Fermin, who is like the best player in baseball in
4 straight 2-hit
randomly.
games for
So
Freddie Freeman.
with a double dong mixed in there, like I hard pressed to not just play one of those 3 and say
I got an autograph Freddie
Connor
Fermin
Wong's
rookie
getting.
card somewhere around here. No lie.
Well, let's
Usually
go.
I have these things to pull up and show on screen, but I cleaned my office the other day, so it's now safely put away in a case where it belongs. But I do have got a Furman rookie.
I like people are playing Connor Wong tonight, and he just hasn't hit lefties at all. It's just I think it's just baked into like the Red Sox rostership because Boston's getting a lot of love and in ownership, and they have a high implied team total and stuff. And I get it. I'm just saying he has not hit lefties whatsoever. So catcher is very simple for me. It's Furman.
If Carantini's in the lineup tonight, I'd play him.
They have a lineup out. He is
well,
not.
Then you beat me to it then. DraftKings wasn't updated.
Yeah.
I'll refresh.
Yeah, they 17 minutes ago. Yelich, Contreras, Santana, Frelick, Canna, Monasterio, Bryce Turang, Brian Anderson, and
you win.
No, I wasn't. No, I was just reading it. I was just reading it.
You're right. I'm wrong. Okay, is that what you wanted to hear? Is that what you wanted to hear?
Proving I can read. Giants lineup just came out. AJ Pollock hitting 3rd.
Doesn't change anything for me, but
no.
That guy
just
sucks.
Throwing that out there. He's $2,500.
That's great. Would have been awesome 5 years ago.
He was really good against lefties last year, but again, that was last year.
First base position.
Yes,
much more interesting position. A lot of top end talent here.
A lot of just talent. This is a good
especially
position.
Now that the weather's cleared up. Because I wanted to play Matt Olson. Now I can play Matt Olson. So
now you sure can. Yeah. I mean, he's hitting. I mean, dude, it's like he's hitting more home runs per week than he's not.
So it's 7 in 10 games.
He has 7 home runs in his last 9. No, wait, in 9. I did the math this morning. I know it says 10, but it's 9. I'll give him his flower. 7 in his.
You think Atlanta's missing Freddie Freeman?
I mean, that's a very hard question because Freddie Freeman's hitting 350 and Olson's hitting 350 home runs. So I don't know.
I think Matt Olson has him in every counting stat but average, right? Stolen bases?
Probably. I mean, yeah. So we know Freeman's running this year.
Yeah.
So no, but yes, but no, I don't know. They wouldn't have as many home run derbies with Freddie Freeman, but they would probably have if Freddie Freeman was in this lineup, would he have 100 RBIs?
But he plays for the Dodgers,
right? So, no, I know, but we also remember the Dodgers were not good for the first month of the year. The Braves have been competing in a home run derby from
Oakland that goes to Atlanta though and hits 35 home runs.
Well, I don't know if it's just they're gonna give Astoria Ruiz away for free, and then he's gonna have 150.
You don't think Brett Rooker finds his way out of Oakland
yeah.
Anyways,
something like that.
So yeah, you can play Olsen, you can play Ohtani. That's fine. Bellinger against Senga. Any interest?
So that's the one game that's a little worrisome from the weather. I'm fine with it. I'm probably as good as the Cubs have been. I'm probably, I don't know. If you want to play the Cubs, that's fine. It's going to be low owned. Bellinger, even now he's not hitting home runs, he's stealing bases, 5 stolen bases his last 6 games. It's hey, by the way, I could just do it all again. So if you want to play Bellinger, by all means.
Okay. We loved Turner last night. I think that's still in play here at $4,600.
Yes.
Carlos Santana hitting 3rd against Lambert. Ryan in here asking Brewer season. Faisal, same thing here. Brewer stack today. So, we're definitely we're not opposed to the Brewer crew in certain spots here. So definitely could find ourselves getting to them today. Santana hitting 3rd looks pretty nice. Anybody else at first? Belt, maybe 3,300?
Yes. Brandon Belt made the playbook. He was in the write-up. He was in the he's in the core plays. I like Toronto quite a bit here. Their offense is waking up. You mentioned it on the podcast this morning. Springer has been waking up. The Davis Schneider call up has obviously been tremendous. And Brennan Belt, second on the team in OPS against righty or ISO against righties, first in WOBA, not excluding Davis Schneider, who obviously, just had 35 hits against
If
Boston over
only
a
he
3-game
played in
series.
Toronto 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, true.
It would have been the Brandon Belt that was promised,
Yeah, and over the last 30 days, John, it's been even better. 291 ISO for Brandon Belt, 382 WOBA against left-handed or right-handed pitching, and Gavin Williams has struggled against lefties. 181 ISO allowed, 360 WOBA to left-handed bats. So I like Brandon Belt quite a bit as value, and we can mention him in the outfield or at first, but Jake Bauers, 2600, he's leading off, and I think what's kind of happening is it's like, well, Aaron Judge is back, so I'm going to pitch to Jake Bauers and not Aaron Judge with a runner on. And Jake Bauers has provided a ton of power, as I didn't mean to rhyme, but, sometimes you do the time and you do the crime. And here we are.
That's the show for everybody today. The playbook is live. You can find us in the Discord.
That was a good one. But Jake Bauers against right-handed pitching this year, 298 ISO, 370 WOBA. Like, Dylan Cease stinks against left-handed batters. Like, for whatever, 181 ISO, 340 WOBA. It's been worse lately over the last 30 days. 196 ISO, 386 WOBA. Like, kind of like Jake Bauers, kind of like the top of the Yankees lineup tonight. So 2,900 for Bauers. I'll throw into that mix, but nothing else besides.
I'll let you live on Bauer Island. I'm more so. I think Bell would be the lowest I'd go in this.
So for the record, Jake Bauer's highest owned position player tonight, other than Rob Refsnyder.
All right, so I'm not playing the highest rostered infielder, not playing the highest rostered pitcher here today. Hey, Mark's here. Half my lineups are guys I didn't know existed a week ago. Yeah, that will happen. That'll happen. Wait till the NBA DFS season comes.
Oh, yes.
What end of season NBA DFS season. All the G Leaguers come up and score 50 fantasy points. All right, second base. Estrada back. We talked about that one. Got Sandoval here, $5,100. Simeon against Waldesuk. Albies against Beto. You mentioned he's pretty good against righties, though. Turner with second base eligibility. God bless. Jimenez against Rue, lefty on lefty, but he's been hitting lefty as well. I want to play Cleveland. I don't know who on Cleveland to play because I don't think Rue's that good.
So I have a different opinion on him. I'm also just not getting to Cleveland. Like,
Rue was like 5 watchers since your Bauer joke. I'm just letting you know that's all you. It's your fault.
Okay, well, I'll take. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's your fault.
I'm sorry, everybody, that I
bad jokes. We won't tell any more bad jokes.
I mean, that's not true.
We're gonna tell a lot of them. Yeah,
a lot of bad jokes. So, I just have no interest in Cleveland. Like, Cleveland has just been so other than the most exciting thing this year has been Jose Ramirez's punch, and then Terry Francona calling out the beat writer for saying left hook when he said it was, and he said no, right.
I do like that he appealed his suspension. It's like, Jose.
I know, like, it's cool. And Tim Anderson did too.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what are you appealing?
They threw Tim Anderson squared up.
Tim Anderson hockey fought, threw his gloves on the ground. Was like ready to knuckle up here and got KO'd. So
I like Semien at the top. I mean, I just like Texas a lot. Semien powers on full display. 3 home runs in his last 5 games. Big hit streak for Semien right now. I know he's been better against righties. But I like Semien. I like Albies hitting from the left side. He's actually kind of showing. I mean, it's all power, but he's been great. You could play Justin Turner here if you wanted to play like Matt Olson at first base. That's I think a nice pivot. And then it's just value for me. Like, there is great value tonight. Bryce Terang hitting 7th, 2,900. Davis Schneider, 2,700. Again, series of a lifetime in Fenway.
His family was in town.
Family was in town. Yeah, family is in town, right. Now leading off again against Cleveland. And then, going back to the well with Cleveland. John alluded to it earlier. Kansas City, rather. Sorry. John alluded to it earlier with the Brian Bayo stuff against left-handed pitching. But let me just, or left-handed batters. Let me just circle back. 214 ISO, 351 WOBA allowed on the year. Last 30 days, 423 ISO, 449 WOBA allowed to left-handed bats. Like, those are abysmal numbers. Michael Massey hitting third. The power over that same 30-day span, John, for Michael Massey, 302 ISO, 345 WOBA. So the kid's got pop, hitting third, 2,500. Probably going to be a plug and play for us, but I think there's a lot of different value options.
If you want to play Strider tonight, you need to find a very cheap play somewhere.
Yep.
Massey's hitting third. I don't know. I mean, Schneider, sure, if you're in on that matchup, fine. I like the train call. I think Luis Urias is kind of interesting against Reagans here, too. He was a guy that hit lefties with the Brewers, comes up for Boston, hits in all 3 games he played for them. So, Trevor Story back tomorrow, by the way, for the Red Sox. So, that lineup getting a jolt of offensive energy as well. So, but I'm with you there. I think the value here is definitely a way to go as we work our way down the positions. So third base, I mean, top end talent here, Riley, Ramirez, Devers, all like smash plays.
Yeah. No going wrong. I think I would rank them Devers, Riley, Ramirez probably. I would rank them. But there's no wrong answer. I think all 3 are elite plays.
Yeah. Again, Devers against lefties. Nobody plays them, but he hits lefties fine. So I'm not too concerned about that. If you want to go in the mid-tier range, again, I do think McMahon and Nolan Jones could be an interesting little 2-man play here against Peralta this evening. Not going full Colorado stack, but there's some power there going up against a chalky Freddie, so I don't mind it. I mean, after that, where do you look? We like the value at second. I didn't care for a lot of the value at third today.
It was Urias. You stole my value and you plugged him at second, but we didn't need to plug him there because we had enough value, John.
Hey, but he plays second. I can't help but have a multi-position eligibility.
I know, but I think it's Luis Urias as the value play at third, which we could just like erase, do the Will Smith thing in Men in Black, hit him with it. They forgot about Luis Urias being second base because I think there's no value at third and there's plenty of second base value. So I would just rather use now the problem is, like, if you're playing Devers, you want to play Boston, like Urias makes sense being a second baseman. But if you're not playing Devers and you still want some value, Urias is a good play. He's been a good player for a few years. Very good utility
23
player.
home runs 2 years ago. It was 16 and 17 home runs last year. This year, he got World Baseball Classic, got hurt,
injury,
and he just never got a chance, never got his footing in this year because Owen Miller hit 400 for 3 months. So
another WBC. Another WBC cause for concern?
Yeah, so maybe the WBC should not be whatever.
It was fun. It was really fun. I don't think either of us are trying to be the old man on the porch and get off my lawn, but there's a lot of people that are not playing well after Trey Turner was the best player in the history of baseball during the WBC. Sandy Alcantara was the best, and now they can't play. It's the Monstars have taken their power. So I mean, WBC was great, but there's a lot of data I think coming in that it's maybe was the best thing for people.
Sure. Monasterio's down here 26, Brian Anderson 31. If you're on Milwaukee guys today as well. Shortstop here again. Seager was my best bet of the day. We did the RT pick him earlier. We like the total bases here. His hits, runs, and RBIs on DK Sportsbook tonight is at 2.5. So everything loves Corey Seager here this evening. He has $6,300. He's got Wall to suck on the mound. Yes, I am very much looking to spend up for Seager, and then the man right below him, Bobby Witt Jr. Not just because he's on my roto team, but he's also killing it right now. I know earlier this year we were like, oh, Bobby Witt versus a lefty, let's tout him in. Well, now he's just really starting to hit everybody. So because he's an elite talent, I'm a big fan of just plugging one of those two in. I'll have exposure to both in my lineups here this evening when I make the 3 max entry later on today.
Yeah, I mean, I think Seager is my top spend overall. This guy was going to go on a rehab assignment, and they were like, nah, that's good. You're good. And then he's homered in 3 or 4 games since being back. They were like, he was like, no, why would you send me on a rehab? Like, does it look like I need a rehab?
You want me to torture the PCL? No, I'll just come up here.
And he's torturing major league pitching, which is
Right.
even more funny. But yeah, he's been elite against left-handed pitching, and Wall the Suck, as you've coined, has actually been worse against lefties this year. Not that he's been good against anybody, but he's been worse against lefties. So Corey Seager's on FanDuel, you could play them both, and I think that's actually a very good strategy. Like Seager, Witt, the amount of upside that you have from those two guys alone is tremendous. And we knew this was coming from Bobby Witt. He was the number one prospect in baseball last year, like number one with a bullet. Like
I remember everybody thought he was going to come up like the year earlier than he did because he was like just hammering the minor leagues, and they were asking the GM, and he's like, I mean, we could call him up early, but we don't really want to, and he's sort of just like forced their hand. So
yep. But yeah, I mean, I think it's those two, and you could obviously play Lindor, who's elite against left-handed pitching, but like there's just a large gap, and this is opportunity cost at its finest here, right? It's like, do I not play Corey Seager or Bobby Witt to play anybody else? Like, I could just Ezekiel Duran's a great option tonight. I could just play him in the outfield, like, and not miss out on the chance of playing Corey Seager, right? So
there's not. I mean, like you said, there's not a lot else down here that you would want for value looking at shortstop if you were to spend. I mean, Arias is at least hitting 6th. You know, if you wanted to like get a positional thing, but he actually hasn't hit a lefty I think all year. He's 5 for 64 against lefties, so not great. Not great, Bob.
Seems great. That seems good.
Young's got some power.
Yeah, like again, I think there's like, I'm not just trying to like poo-poo it and move on.
No,
but
no,
like
no arguments.
What like
we'll find our value in the outfield, right?
Here's something for you, and I'll to I guess further my point. Pablo Reyes is the 3rd highest projected shortstop.
Yeah, because people are just punching a position today, right?
Do we want to play Pablo? Like, what is Pablo Reyes? He has 7 fantasy points in his last 7 games.
Yeah, no, I'm all set. No, I'm
like what? The 3rd highest shortstop or 4th highest shortstop is Anthony Volpe, who is hitting 188 over his last 10 games and only hits lefties. Do we want to play Anthony Volpe? Like, you're just taking a shot on like, maybe we get the top prospect version of Anthony Volpe, but that's kind of been everyone's thought this year that we'd get that. And he's hitting 210 and we're in August. So like, I don't know, like it's just, and no, for the record, John, I just want to point this out. Corey Seager is like the 6th highest rostered shortstop of the day.
I'm not against it. It. All depends on your roster. I'm just trying to play around and see what kind of money we'd have here. If we went Cole over Strider, Dunning, Garver, Massey, Seager is sort of like core guys we've talked about. $3,800. We know that there's going to be some value in the outfield that we're going to get ourselves into. Yep. Also, breaking news: it's not on this main slate, but the Phillies Nationals game has been postponed due to rain. So, we have Phillies postponed, Pittsburgh game starting a little bit later. So, something to at least, I guess, continue to pay attention to when it comes to weather here, because obviously, if like big games get rained out, rostership then just heavily shifts. Right? People aren't playing Strider anymore because he's off the slate. They all play Gerrit Cole, and rostership booms. So continue to be on the lookout for weather there. All right, let's go to outfield. Let's talk about it here. We know who the top guys are, obviously. You can get Acuna in your lineup. If you want to play Judge or Ohtani, perfectly okay there. I do like Milwaukee tonight. Yelich is expensive. $5,600 leading off for him there. But again, I don't think much of Lambert and that Milwaukee team here. So, what are your thoughts when it comes to the outfield today, man?
So like you can obviously play Acuna, you can obviously play Ohtani if you want. I'm okay getting to Aaron Judge as well. He's had massive numbers against right-handed pitching. I think he hasn't looked great. But the top half of the Yankees lineup looks pretty good today against Cease. So, home run upside for Judge. The first name I'm like really, really interested in is Adolis Garcia at 5,800. We're in the midst of that, like, I'm the best player on the planet, Adolis Garcia, when he goes through these stretches in the middle of seasons when you're like, wait, he has how many home runs again? And he's at 100 RBIs again? And you're like, that's just what Adolis Garcia 30 years old does. Like, he burst onto the scene at 28. Now he's done it for 3 straight seasons. He's just one of those streaky players. 5 home runs in his last 10 games. He has 3 in his last 3. We know he has like random stolen base upside as well. So I love Adolis Garcia against Waldichuk. Yelich is fine at 56. I know he's slowing down a tad from where he was. But like, even in the last 0 for 8 stretch, he had an RBI, a walk, and a steal the other day to like save his day. I really like Springer coming alive. And I like the spot in the lineup, hitting 4th, hitting behind Schneider, who's getting on base, hitting behind Belt, who's getting on base, hitting behind Vladdy. Like, 7 hits in his last 3 games is really encouraging for the Blue Jays, because he had been a literal 0 leading into that. So
I'm taking the Toronto performances with a grain of salt
because Boston's pitching.
The Boston pitching was so dreadful.
Sure.
I mean, they went for a full bullpen game basically on Sunday. Saturday they used the bullpen game as well. They obviously had Paxton, I think it was, on Friday, but I agree. They're all hitting really well, but I think it's worth taking into context what they just had to face. Now, Cleveland's not much better, so you certainly could continue the success there. But a better hitting ballpark in Boston than Cleveland. They were just peppering the Green Monster, hitting it over and off of it all weekend. So something to watch out there. Those of you joining the show, appreciate you tuning in here again. If you could, give a like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it greatly. If you have any questions, get in the chat here. More than happy to answer your DraftKings or your FanDuel questions. If you have any pick'em plays you want to ask about, PrizePicks, Underdog, RT Sports, you name it, throw them in the chat. Happy to answer those for you here, as well as we kind of build out some lineup examples here. Throwing in what we have right now, we got about 3,500 play, 2 outfields and a first base spot to go. Let's get to something value and mid-tier outfielders that are kind of teeing off for you here. I like Michael Harris and Frelick here at $4,200 each. Get the wraparound stack, but Harris, if that game goes off against Pittsburgh, Frelick's hitting cleanup still for Milwaukee against Lambert. So I am a fan of that, as I mentioned. Moving forward, I have Nolan Jones is my home run call of the day over on the Better Sports Betting Show. Plus 550 tonight was my home run call. So you got him there, $4,300 there. So low 4K range. I think there's some options, but given the money we have left, we're going to need to find a cheap play here to help us get some more salary. So what's on your radar today, man?
Well, I'll just circle back to a couple mid-tiers. Sure. Adam Duvall, 45, Giancarlo Stanton, 47. Both actually really cheap on FanDuel, too. So I like those guys. Ezekiel Duran, 3,700 is where I'd start, under 4K. He hits lefties extremely well. I've seen some lineups projecting him hitting right in the middle of it, especially with Josh Jung being absent. Sure. We'll see how they go about that lineup. But I love Duran, 37. Leody Taveras, 3,600. Clearly, another guy. Hasn't hit lefties as well as he was earlier in the year. So, not as high on Taveras, especially because I can see them moving Duran up, but I don't know if they move Taveras. Sure. But we'll get to another Texas outfielder here in a second. Dalton Varsho, lefties against Gavin Williams, has been a thing. And I just want to touch on the Gavin Williams thing, sure, where you're talking about taking it with a grain of salt on Toronto's offense. I know Gavin Williams is a top prospect, and he clearly looks pretty good. The walk rate has been incredibly concerning. He's been really lucky, and that's like 3.38 ERA. The expected ERA is over a full run higher. The xFIP is at 5, and his BABIP 2.76. Like, there's a lot of regression coming for Gavin Williams, who only has a 20% strikeout rate to an 11% walk rate, 41% fly ball rate. So I think there's a lot of like scary stats, especially when you're facing a hot offense. So just teeing up that for the Varsho play as well here for me. Okay. Going down Melendez at 3K, I think is a really nice play. Did I skip over Grossman? No, Grossman's 2,600 right there with Bowers. Some really cheap options. Grossman hits
Ref
lefties
Snyder
well.
Leading off 2,700 versus the lefty.
And Ref Snyder is the Chuck. Yeah, he's the Chuck he's the Chuck.
Yeah, everybody just knows the key on Ref Snyder. You mentioned Varsho, my boy Kevin Biggio out here, $2,600. Gotta give a shout. You mentioned Bowers already, as you said before there. Matt Beaty is back in the lineup here for Kansas City. Kind guy again talked lefties against Bayo, hitting in the middle of their lineup at $2,200. If you go Massey, Beatty, you really save some cash here this evening. And that's kind of the end of your value tier in the outfield spot. So got like framework of a lineup built. We got 3,850 for a first baseman and an outfielder. So could see where we go.
Justin Turner at first or Brandon Belt at first. One of the two.
Belt could work. $4,400 outfielder. Varsho. Is that your play?
4,400 outfielder. I mean, you literally just said Nolan Jones is your home run.
I did. He's my home run guy, but he doesn't really fit a stack. But I'm happy to one off him.
I mean, the Varsho Belt play is like awkward. It's an awkward fit because it's
sure money wise.
No, it's an awkward stack 2 and 7. I don't hate it, but like if you go, we'll go to first and go to Turner over Belt and see what we can do with the last outfield spot.
46. 31 is Melendez.
Which
I'm fine with.
Yeah.
3-4 Massey Melendez there. So just an example lineup, right? Little DraftKings build as we go. Using Cole over Strider here gets us Dunning, Garver, Turner, Massey, Urias, Seager, Adolis, Refsnyder, and Melendez. Seager, Adolis, and Garver could be all right next to each other, right? In there.
Yeah, we don't know how that lineup is.
Yeah, we don't know how they're.
Yeah, we don't know how the lineup's going to shake out.
So just an idea. Could go about building it. Let's get to our home run calls for you. I kind of gave away mine already. So what's your home run call tonight?
Home run call. I'm going to go with Corey Seager. To go.
Okay. Hard to argue. Again, I said Nolan Jones for mine. Plus 550. DePrince wants to know Strider or Cole and FanDuel. I think you go Strider if that game plays over Cole. For me, it's only a $500 difference. But if you need the money, 100% okay going Gerrit Cole here this evening. So
it's not a difference on FanDuel.
No, it's negligible. It's negligible. Yeah. So Strider's my guy, 100% over Cole tonight. But if that game weather-wise, if you're worried, play Gerrit Cole. I have full confidence behind that spot tonight.
I cannot believe Freddie Peralta's like so highly owned on FanDuel too. He's 10-5 and like Gerrit Cole's $500 more and there's a 24% ownership discrepancy. I'd say like I 100% agree for $500 more, like it's Strider, but also for 21% less, Gerrit Cole is sitting there. Like Strider is the option. Strider is the play.
Sure.
But if playing multiple lineups, I'm definitely getting Gerrit Cole for 4%.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot against that. I'm trying to see where we could go if we kind of moved off of
with Strider.
Get Strider in. I kind of have a full Kansas City Boston game stack here.
Yikes! What do we have? Outfield at 52. Yeah. Stanton, Springer, Duvall.
Sure. Just finish it. Like. Go Yoshida. Anyway, so we can kind of play around with different ways to go about it. You saw the lineup we had already with Gerrit Cole. I think we like that a lot tonight. If you can get the Strider, more power to you. Certainly can fit a lot of builds here this evening. Give me your top stack. You said Rangers. I imagine that's where you're going.
Yep, going Rangers.
Yep, Rangers. Give me your value stack.
Value stack. I mean, it's hard not to just say Kansas City because they provide so much value.
I think it's them or Milwaukee. I think Kansas City or Milwaukee probably fit the bill there.
Does Boston work because Urias and can't really go Boston.
I mean, yeah, and Refsnyder, I mean, they're cheap.
I'm going to go Toronto. I'm going to go Toronto as my value stack because Belt and Varsho, and Jansen are all $3,500 or less.
Sure. I think you're in agreement. Rangers for sure. Atlanta, if that game goes off 100%. Love Kansas City tonight for me as well as a value play. Obviously, Witt not value, but everybody else in that lineup is for sure. I'll probably have 100% Massey in my lineup at $2,500. Just too cheap to fade when you're trying to get Strider and Cole in your lineups there tonight. And he'll be my top value play tonight as well, 2,500. What's your top value play?
Top value play, I'll go with Ezekiel Duran.
All right, I like that. Brendan F wants to know thoughts on Bayo tonight. I mean, obviously my lineup's full of Kansas City Royals here, so I'm not looking to play him at 9K on DraftKings. Again, there's some underlying numbers that James called out for him where it's not as good. The Princess Sound, am I coming through? You hear? Prince,
yeah, you're good. Yeah.
All right. If everybody else can hear me, let me know. So we have for me, just not in on Bayo. Just not looking where I'm going tonight with that matchup there. Moustakis, I don't mind the Moose. I mean, again, it's going up against Webb, so it's not a great matchup. But if you want to be different, definitely he's on fire right now. And Webb hasn't been shutting down everybody. He's been giving up a couple of runs here and there. He's just a big ground ball guy, so he doesn't give up a lot of home runs. So kind of the issue we have with going up against Logan Webb here tonight. Mark wants to know how much Schneider are we playing?
I mean, in any of my stacks, I'm including the leadoff hitter hitting $2,700. So,
sure.
20 lineups, I'd have whatever your Blue Jays are not really that popular. Let's see. They're coming in as take it back. 4th highest owned stack of the night. And Milwaukee, the 2nd highest rostered.
Could play Cavan and Schneider as a little wraparound,
Yeah.
Get my boy in the lineup, 294, 807 OPS the last 10.
And stick
Barely
with
plays,
it.
but when
Belt,
he does,
And Belt.
Yeah, and Brandon Belt right there. Yeah, perfect. Lefties in there. All right, got a couple minutes left. Anybody else got any questions? Again, throw them in the Discord. Throw them in the chat. If you're not yet a member of the Fantasy Salon family, come join. Go all pro today. Get access to everything we got on site. All premium content, both seasonal and DFS. Access to our premium Discord channels as well. Plus, free fantasy football draft guide when you sign up. You get the 7-day free trial. The fantasy football cheat sheet is now live with all of your rankings, draft grid, auction values. You name it, all of there as well. What color shirt can we expect tomorrow, John? I don't know. I don't know what color shirt I'm going to wear tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe I'll wear my Fantasy Salon polo. Keep it classy. Keep it classy here. So that's what we got for everybody here today. Again, find us on Twitter. You see our Twitter handles there at JImpemba777, at _real_grande. James and I will be back tomorrow. Good luck tonight.